Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Always exciting to be back.
Today we're going to be focusing on something that is super important for anybody running anything in the cloud.
Keeping an eye on your systems, right?
Yeah.
Making sure everything's healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, just because things are running doesn't necessarily mean that things are running well.
Totally. It's like, a car might be driving, but if the engine's overheating, you're headed for trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are the kinds of things that we need to be looking at when we say, like, keeping an eye on things? What does that actually mean?
Well, think of it like vital signs for your applications, right? Like when you go to the doctor, they check your pulse, your blood pressure, all that good stuff.
Right.
In the cloud world, we have these things called metrics, which are basically measurements that tell us how our systems and applications are doing.
So give me an example, like what would be like a metric?
Sure. So let's say you have a website, right?
Right.
A metric could be something like how many visitors you're getting per minute or how long it takes for your pages to load.
Okay, so like response time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe how many errors are occurring on your site. These are all vital signs that give you a snapshot of your website's health.
Okay, so if we're tracking these metrics, what's the next step? What do we do with them? Do we just like stare at a screen full of numbers all day?
Well, you could, but that wouldn't be very efficient, would it?
No, not really.
No, the real power comes from setting up alarms.
Okay.
Think of alarms like those little red flags that pop up on your car dashboard when something's wrong.
Oh, okay.
You set thresholds for your metrics, and if those thresholds are crossed, boom, you get an alert. It's like having a little watchdog constantly monitoring your systems.
Oh, okay.
So let's say you're tracking the CPU usage of your servers, right? You could set an alarm that goes off if CPU usage exceeds 80%. That way you know something's up, and you can investigate and take action before things get out of hand.
So it's like a preemptive strike. You're catching potential problems before they become big problems.
Exactly. It's all about proactive monitoring, not reactive firefighting.
Okay, so this is good stuff. But I'm starting to realize that this could generate a lot of data, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing with cloud monitoring. It can be a data fire hose if you're not careful.
Yeah. So how do we manage all this data? How do we make sure we're not just drowning in a sea of numbers?
That's where dimensions come in.
Dimensions?
Think of them like filters for your data, allowing you to slice and dice and zoom in on specific areas that you care about.
Okay, can you give me an example? Like how would I use a dimension?
Sure. So let's say you're monitoring your website traffic, right? You could use dimensions to break down that traffic by country.
Oh.
Or by device type.
Okay.
Or by browser. So instead of just seeing a big lump sum of traffic, you can see exactly where that traffic is coming from, which can give you valuable insights into your audience and how they're interacting with your website.
So dimensions help me add context to my metrics, right? I can see not just what's happening, but where and how it's happening.
Exactly. It's like having a magnifying glass for your data, allowing you to zoom in on the details that matter most.
This is all incredibly helpful, but I have to admit, I'm a bit worried about the potential cost of all this monitoring.
Yeah, cost is definitely a valid concern. Monitoring can get expensive if you're not careful.
That sounds like it.
But the thing is, effective monitoring can actually save you money in the long run.
How so?
Well, think about it. If you can catch problems early and prevent downtime, you're avoiding potential lost revenue, right? Plus, by optimizing your resources based on your monitoring data, you can often reduce your overall cloud spending.
So it's an investment rather than just an expense.
Exactly. It's like with anything else, you need to spend money to make money, right?
Right.
And when it comes to cloud monitoring, the return on investment can be huge.
So it's not just about collecting data for the sake of collecting data. It's about using that data to make informed decisions that can positively impact your bottom line.
Absolutely. Data without action is meaningless. The real power of cloud monitoring lies in using that data to improve your applications, optimize your resources, and ultimately drive business success.
So now I'm starting to think about all these different metrics and alarms and dimensions, and I'm wondering, is there a way to see all of this information in a more visual, more manageable way?
You're reading my mind. That's where dashboards come in.
Dashboards?
Yeah, dashboards. Think of them like your cloud command center, right? You can create these customizable dashboards that display all the key metrics and alarms that you care about, all in one place. It's like having a live interactive map of your entire cloud infrastructure.
Oh, wow. So it's like a one-stop shop for all my monitoring needs. I can see
Yeah.
everything at a glance.
Exactly. No more jumping between different tools or digging through endless logs. You can have all the information you need right there in front of you, beautifully visualized and easy to understand.
So we've got metrics, we've got alarms, we've got dimensions, we've got dashboards. This is starting to feel like I have a whole team of experts watching over my applications 24/7.
That's the power of cloud monitoring. It's like having an army of digital guardians constantly on the lookout for any potential issues.
Okay, this is amazing stuff. But I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
Oh, we've only just begun. There's so much more to explore.
But I can't wait. But I think we're going to have to save that for next time.
Definitely looking forward to diving even deeper in our next part.
So make sure you join us for part 2 of this deep dive, where we'll continue our exploration of cloud monitoring and uncover even more powerful tools and techniques for keeping your applications healthy and performing at their best.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
Where we're going to continue our journey into the world of cloud monitoring.
You know, last time we talked about the importance of metrics and alarms and dimensions.
Yeah, it was like laying the foundation.
Exactly. And this time, I think we should dig a little deeper.
Okay, so where do we dig?
Well, let's talk about how to actually make sense of all that data we're collecting, right? It's one thing to have all these numbers and alerts, but it's another thing to actually understand what they're telling you.
Right, because data without insights is just noise.
Exactly. So how do we turn that data into actionable insight?
I'm all ears.
Visualization.
Okay, so we're talking charts and graphs and stuff.
Think bigger, think dashboards.
Oh, dashboards. Like those fancy control panels you see in movies?
Kinda, but for your cloud environment, you can create these customizable dashboards that visually display all the key metrics, alarms, and trends you care about. It's like having a live interactive map of your entire cloud infrastructure.
Okay, so instead of just staring at a spreadsheet full of numbers, I can actually see what's going on.
Exactly, and it's not just about pretty pictures. It's about making it easier to spot patterns, identify anomalies, and understand how different parts of your system are interacting.
So it's like having X-ray vision for my cloud.
You got it. And these dashboards can be dynamic too. They can update in real time as your environment changes.
Oh, wow, so it's not like a static snapshot. It's a constantly evolving view.
Exactly. You're always looking at the most up-to-date information, which is crucial for making quick and informed decisions.
Okay, this is powerful stuff. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together to create a truly comprehensive monitoring system.
And we're just getting started. There's a whole world of advanced monitoring tools and techniques out there.
Oh man, my brain is already buzzing with possibilities.
But hold on, before we get too carried away, there's one crucial aspect we need to address: cost.
Ah, yes, the dreaded cloud bill.
Monitoring can generate a lot of data, and that data can cost money to store and process. So we need to be smart about how we manage those costs.
Right, because what's the point of having all these insights if we can't afford them?
Exactly. So how do we balance the need for comprehensive monitoring with the need to keep costs under control?
Tell me the secrets.
Well, first of all, not all data is created equal, right? Some metrics are more critical than others.
So it's about prioritizing, figuring out which metrics truly matter for our specific applications and focusing on those.
Exactly. You don't need to track every single data point. Focus on the metrics that actually give you actionable insights.
Okay, so we're decluttering our data. What else can we do?
Another thing to consider is the granularity of your monitoring. Do you really need second-by-second updates for every single metric?
I guess it depends on the application, right?
Exactly. For some applications, a higher resolution might be critical, but for others, you might be able to get away with less frequent checks, which can significantly reduce your costs.
So it's about finding the right balance between insights and expense.
You got it. And there are also tools out there that can help you analyze your monitoring costs and identify areas where you might be overspending.
Oh, so it's like having a budget tracker for your monitoring activity.
Precisely. You can track your spending, set budgets, and get alerts if you're approaching your limits.
Okay, this is starting to feel a lot more manageable. I'm not so intimidated by the cost factor anymore.
That's good to hear, because the last thing we want is for costs to be a barrier to effective monitoring. The benefits of cloud monitoring far outweigh the costs, as long as you're smart about how you approach it.
So we've got the data, we've got the insights, we're managing our costs. Now what? What happens when something actually goes wrong?
Ah, the moment of truth. That's where troubleshooting comes in.
Okay, so let's say I get an alert that one of my servers is experiencing high CPU usage. What's my next move?
Well, the first step is to figure out what's causing the problem. And that's where a tool called transaction search can be incredibly helpful.
Transaction search, what's that?
It's basically a way to trace individual transactions across your entire application. It's like having a detective follow a suspect's every move.
Oh, wow. So I can see exactly what happened step by step leading up to the problem.
Precisely. You can see which services were involved, how long each step took, where any bottlenecks occurred. It's incredibly powerful for pinpointing the root cause of issues.
So it's not just about seeing that there's a problem. It's about understanding why there's a problem.
Exactly. And once you understand the why, you can start to fix it.
This sounds like a game changer for troubleshooting.
It really is. It takes the guesswork out of the equation and lets you focus on solving the problem quickly and efficiently.
So we've got our dashboards giving us a high-level view, and then we can use transaction search to zoom in on specific issues and get to the bottom of things.
It's like having a microscope and a telescope, both at your disposal.
Okay, I'm starting to feel like a cloud monitoring ninja, but I have a feeling there's even more to learn, right?
You bet. And that's what we'll be diving into in our next and final part.
So make sure you join us for part 3, where we'll wrap up our deep dive into cloud monitoring and equip you with all the knowledge and tools you need to keep your applications healthy, performing, and secure in the cloud. All right, we're back for the final part of our deep dive into cloud monitoring.
And we're ready to wrap things up with some powerful strategies.
You know, in the last part, we were talking about transaction search and how it helps us troubleshoot issues.
Yeah, like following those digital breadcrumbs.
Exactly. But now I'm thinking, what happens after we've identified the problem? How do we actually fix things?
That's where things can get really interesting, because fixing problems in the cloud often involves more than just patching a server or restarting a service.
Right, it's a different beast altogether.
It is. See, in the cloud, everything is interconnected. You have all these different services and components working together, and so when something goes wrong, it can have a ripple effect across your entire infrastructure.
So it's like a giant puzzle where all the pieces are constantly moving.
Kind of, and that's why having a solid understanding of your cloud architecture is so critical. You need to know how everything fits together so you can quickly isolate the problem area and take the appropriate action.
So it's not just about technical skills, it's also about having a big picture view of how everything works together.
Absolutely. And that's why collaboration is so important in cloud environments. You need developers, operations folks, security teams, all working together to ensure the health and stability of your applications.
So it's a team sport.
Big time. And speaking of teamwork, let's talk about another powerful tool that can help us streamline our monitoring efforts. Automation.
Oh, automation.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite buzzword.
But it's more than just a buzzword. Automation can be a real game changer when it comes to cloud monitoring. Think about it. We've been talking about all these manual tasks like setting up alarms and configuring dashboards. But what if we could automate some of these tasks?
That would free up a lot of time and energy.
Exactly. And that's where tools like infrastructure as code and configuration management come in. We can use these tools to automate the provisioning and configuration of our monitoring systems, making our lives a whole lot easier.
So it's like having a robot army doing all the tedious work for us.
Exactly. And the best part is, automation not only saves time, it also reduces the risk of human error. When you automate tasks, you're ensuring that they're performed consistently and reliably every single time.
Okay, so we've got automation helping us streamline our monitoring efforts. What else can we do to make our lives easier?
Well, remember how we talked about the importance of collaboration earlier? Well, communication is a key part of collaboration. We need to make sure that everyone involved in managing our applications has access to the right information at the right time.
So it's not just about collecting data, it's about sharing those insights with the right people.
Exactly. And that's where tools like chatbots and incident management platforms can be incredibly helpful. We can use these tools to automatically notify the right teams when issues arise, provide them with the context they need to resolve those issues, and keep everyone in the loop throughout the entire process.
So it's like having a central nervous system for our monitoring efforts, ensuring that information flows smoothly and efficiently.
Exactly. And this brings us to one final point I want to emphasize: continuous improvement.
Ah, yes, the journey never ends.
It doesn't. Cloud monitoring isn't a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's an ongoing process of learning, adapting, and evolving your approach as your applications and your needs change.
So we're always striving to do better, to get more insights, to be more proactive.
Absolutely. And the more you learn about your applications and your cloud environment, the better equipped you'll be to anticipate and prevent problems before they even occur.
So it's a virtuous cycle. The more we monitor, the better we get at monitoring.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of cloud monitoring. It's a journey of continuous discovery and improvement that can ultimately lead to greater reliability, performance, and success for your applications.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From the fundamentals of metrics and alarms, to the power of visualization and automation, and the importance of collaboration, security, and continuous improvement.
We've really explored the ins and outs of cloud monitoring.
And I hope you, the listener, are now feeling empowered to take control of your own monitoring efforts and ensure that your applications are always running smoothly and efficiently in the cloud.
It's been a fantastic journey exploring this topic with you.
And remember, even though we're wrapping up this particular deep dive, your cloud monitoring journey is just beginning. So stay curious, keep exploring, and never stop striving for excellence in the ever-evolving world of the cloud.